got an unfair advantage, and that unfair advantage is he works 10 times harder than anyone else. Is this guy serious or what? This is rubbish. Do not prepare like this. This is one of my favorite, most favorite cars. Every Thursday or Friday before the race weekend, we've got a section in our live stream called the Driver's Mentality section. And that's where we look at the mindset and the preparation of some of the best drivers in the world. Since Suzuka, which was at the end of March, to Canada, which is scheduled for the end of May, there's about a 2-month gap and only one race in Miami. So it's plenty of time for the drivers to prepare and prepare well. In this video, I'm going to be reacting to the different posts, comments, criticisms, whatever's out there. A colleague has sent me a bunch of different Instagram reels. We're going to go through them all together and I'm going to react to them and tell you if I believe this is good preparation or if it's not good preparation and why. I'm going to give each clip a score out of 10 and I'm also going to tell you what I think good preparation looks like. Obviously, you got the 4 areas of driver preparation which we always speak about on this channel: physical, mental, technical, and tactical. If it were me, I'd be spending my time as much as possible on those things with the team, in the simulator, with the coaches, personal team, professional team. I think it's really important as well that you separate those two teams. Like you've got your team, like Ferrari, for example, with all the stuff inside of Ferrari, and you've got a little personal, what's called an inner circle, where you've got your physical, mental, technical, and tactical, and you can just bounce ideas off them in private. Don't take this the wrong way. I think balance is super important. Some of my best ideas and when I'm at my most creative is when I'm away from this desk. If I go out for a run, go out for a walk, go out for a swim, have a shower, do something just to get away from it, do some stretching. That's when I think, oh yeah, maybe that's a good idea. Maybe I need to do that. So balance is super helpful and super important, but on the scale of overworked to underprepared, the drivers sit somewhere in the middle. Ergo, there's plenty of room for like the drivers, in my opinion, to do a little bit more work, dot the I's, cross the T's. And it's been evident in some of the stuff that we see on my channel from time to time with asking basic questions. Communication is a basic thing that's not there. The drivers could take a step into the next level of preparation. I think Max alluded to this once when he was like, I had this thought about a setup idea in the middle of the night. I had to wake up and try it straight away. I totally get it. And Max is probably one of the better examples in terms of driver preparation. Hopefully we're going to see some clips of his. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, I'll just pause it there. This is one of my favorite, most favorite cars. This is the Aston Martin Valkyrie, designed by Adrian Newey around Paul Ricard in the hands of Fernando Alonso. Tick, tick, tick. My favorite car previous to the AM Valk was Aston Martin's DBR9. It's the racing version of the DB9, and it's an insane car, and it sounds like this. What more do you want? This is a good place to start. This is a 10 out of 10. I don't understand what this is. Is this an advertisement for a yacht? I'm not sure what this is. Someone let me know in the comments.
40 horsepower, 180 miles an hour. Blue paint, blue rubber.
The appetite is tremendous. So I'm gonna business. The sound of the line with bang. Check it out, John. Here's the hot shot.
I'm not sure what this is. This has nothing to do with driver preparation. 1 out of 10.
About the grid, you know, there are some drivers here who are racing against each other who have been driven together as teammates in the past very successfully. So one of the beautiful things about NLS and the Nordschleife Nürburgring 24 hours is the mixing up of the driver fields and the driver pairings just adds to the storied nature of a race like this.
Neil, we've got to move. Verstappen bullies his way forward. He saw his chance in traffic, and Dennis Marshall has dropped to third in through Flansgarden. That was clinical. That was clinical, and up to second for Max Verstappen.
Max Verstappen is the racing driver's racing driver. Anytime he gets a spare moment, he's behind the steering wheel, honing his craft, working on techniques, talking to other drivers, learning about other cars, hearing information from different people. Tick, 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 10 out of 10.
A very, very positive day for us as a team. I think, obviously, as you mentioned, 4 or 5 weeks between races has given all teams the opportunity to really reflect on the first tests and first couple of races, understand the limitations of the car, understand any other issues that may have been hindering the balance. And I think as a team we've done that very well.
I love that from GP. And I think if you guys could see the difference between the engineers, like when they talk and they're like, we had a break, that was our opportunity to move ahead, understand a couple of things. Here we are, bang, 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 we're sorting it out. I love that. I wish the drivers had half this mentality. Obviously, Max takes his job very seriously and very professionally. This is excellent from GP, 10 out of 10.
I mean, I drove the simulator this morning, which was nice. Let's go for another shooting.
It seems like sometimes the simulator is mixed in there with, you know, a bit of sim, a bit of marketing, a bit of photo shoot, some content, test day, some sponsor stuff. It seems like it's kind of in there, mixed in there. I would just love for it to be at the forefront, and for work, physical, mental, technical, tactical, to be at the forefront of all of the drivers, basically. And so I'm not sure how to rank this one. It's in there somewhere. Obviously, he had a, he had a factory day, 6 out of 10.
My bro said they wanna get paid, okay, let's see what's possible. Pop the pill and I feel alright, I believe I can fly, I feel unstoppable. I get flashbacks in my mind, but times we'd grind all night, it was horrible. There was flights of stairs, now I'm taking flights and arriving somewhere tropical. Man, I call in my phone, but beefing my feet in the sand, that's a juxtaposition. He had a chain, but I didn't even know, cause he came in a club with it tucked, it was hidden. I told man, if you wanna be great, be patient, but it's still rough to the riches. And all of these guys we've talked for the Live Yours gang would love to be in it. I state simple facts. Should I like her? The truth does hurt. My ex wants me to ring her back. I miss your call, I'm on do not disturb. I don't mind if they think it's cat, it's true. I don't wanna put them in the dirt. If you wanna talk to the kid, bring racks. Cool, if you don't, I don't wanna convert. Every time I get bad, gotta buy her a bag. So
Look, impressive, and there's nothing like a good workout. I get it. But I think we need to kind of reappraise for the 4 areas of driver preparation. Remember I said before, physical, mental, technical, tactical. Each year and each reg set, it's going to be a completely different challenge. And I think what we have in 2026 F1, the physical has really taken a back seat. And I think technical as well has taken a bit of a back seat, but tactical has boosted up massively. And I think even mental as well, because you've got to be aware of so many different things. You've got to manage, you've got to concentrate, attention span, capacity, memory is a huge thing, discipline's a huge thing as well. So I think it's shifted around a little bit. It looks like some of the drivers are like spending a lot of time in this break doing a lot of physical prep, and all for what? To jump in the muffin car, to jump, do you know what I mean? It's like the car's not pulling anywhere the G-force is normal, it's clipping at the end of the straights, it's limited in a lot of places. And I don't think the physical prep is necessarily, you know, the lower lap time dart at the dartboard key. I think there's more fruit in other areas. For example, like I said, tactical and mental. Look, I don't hate it. 7 out of 10.
As you know, there's a gap between the races, but we've been keeping...
I'll just pause here because I love Shove. I think the guy's a G, absolute legend of F1, and I have a feeling this is going to be a good clip.
...ourselves busy. We're here at Silverstone today doing a filming day with the W17, and that car was also in action for 2 days at the Nürburgring earlier in the week. That was doing tyre testing with Pirelli. We know that the other teams are going to be working to bring updates to the next race in Miami just a couple of weeks' time, and we've been hard at work as well. Both factories are trying to bring as much performance as we can. So, as I said, we're keeping ourselves busy, we're pushing on, and we're looking forward to seeing you on track in a few weeks' time.
10 out of 10. What could be better than that? Hopefully you could hear from his values and the way he was speaking. It was like, other teams are coming at us with different bits and bobs. We need to make sure we keep moving forward and stay on top of this curve. Love it. Like I said, 10 out of 10. I want to share with you a cool piece of insight that I learned from Andrew Shovlin. One of his clips, come across to the whiteboard. I'll show you what that is. So if you have a look at this, Andrew was the first one that I saw, the first person to introduce me to this. I don't think he pioneered this per se, maybe he did, I don't know. But he's essentially saying here there's a relationship between the vertical load on the tire and the lateral capacity that it can take, aka its grip. So he's essentially saying when you take a corner, you get a roll through the car, which is a change in vertical load, and that change in vertical load really limits the overall grip of the car and the lateral capacity for both tires. So let's say, for example, we're going through this right-hander over here. You guys know the cornering force is coming across here. This one kind of goes up a little bit, you know, that's the unloaded inside front, the one that locks, and this one kind of comes down a little bit, and you get that change in that roll. That's why keeping the center of gravity down is so important. And Andrew is basically saying, well, if the If the car's not cornering and it's going straight, both the tyres have got the same vertical load and they're capable of the same lateral capacity. But the moment you turn into the corner, what comes off one in terms of vertical load goes on the other, and there's a reduction in overall lateral capacity. So let's take a look at this. So everything's rolling across to the green tyre, that increases in vertical load, and you end up with a resulting lateral capacity. And similarly for the red tyre that becomes unloaded, it decreases in vertical load by the same amount, by the way, and then you get a brand new lateral capacity. And what Andrew's saying is the juice is not worth the squeeze here. You're only getting a little bit more lateral capacity out of that one, but you're losing a heap of lateral capacity out of that one. And therefore, roll and weight transfer across the car in that direction reduces the overall picture, the overall lateral capacity of the car. And then when I heard that, I was like, oh, so that's why a tight line works. Genius. Brilliant. So like it's because you steer less, put less load through the car, cover less meters, less distance, and so on. Excellent. Love it. If I take you guys back to the shove clip, 10 out of 10. I mean, how can I hate this? A day out of the races with all the French drivers or French background drivers. I think it's above anything else. I think it would be a good networking opportunity. I think just to talk about driving, talk about some of the struggles you might be having, talk about what happened last weekend, talk about car setup, learn off these guys. I recently learnt a killer tip off Emerson Fittipaldi, one of his clips. I won't share it with you at the moment. Maybe I'll save it for another day. But in that kind of environment, you saw all the legends that were there. You know, how can I fault that? 10 out of 10. Well done, Isaac.
So far this morning we've been in a simulator doing a bit of post-correlation from Japan. Important to make sure we get the simulator as realistic as possible. We're also doing a few concept work, development stuff for the rest of the year and into next year. We're going to continue with that now, so see you later. I am going to go back in the simulator, my favourite place in the whole world. And I don't think you can come in, so... Okay, so far this morning...
I mean, pros and cons. I kind of like that he's in the simulator doing the work, obviously, but the little bit of the tone there, he was like, oh, my favorite place in the world. And I'm like, it should be your favorite place in the world. You got to love what you do. It's part of your job. You know what I mean? If you're a chef, you can't just love cooking. You got to love the cleanup. You've got to love the chopping. You've got to love the prep, the plating, the photos, the video editing, the communicating. You got to love the whole thing. And it's like, I would be like, this is where championships are won. This is where races are won. Get in there and let's go. Let's get it done. So how do I score this? 6 out of 10.
True mastery only has itself to beat. New Chivas Regal 16. Charles Leclerc limited edition.
I guess this is a paid, sponsored thing. This does nothing for lap time. This has nothing to do with me. 2 out of 10.
We're going to Coachella, and actually, I want to show you my outfit.
Joshua Tree, California. I want to be a nobody.
Yeah.
Desert Social Club. Looks pretty sick, bro. We're at Coachella. How do you like it so far?
I'm trying to understand Why do people pay to be here?
Trying to understand why you're there in the first place. I don't understand this at all. Could you imagine like Max or Michael or like a Prime Federer or Novak doing this to waste a day? I mean, I like Valtteri, welcome to Australia, but this is 0 out of 10.
The break, what you've been up to in 10 words.
A lot of training, to be fair. A lot of food. Are you even planking? You're not even planking.
That was more than 10 words, but that was nice. Describe the break, what you've been up to.
Look, similar comments to Lewis. Like the training, a lot of the guys are using this time to do a bit of extra training, and I'm like, it's not going to pay you. You want to put effort into something that's going to give you the most amount of return and bang for your buck in return. You know, you're going to get value in, value out kind of thing. I think the physical training, whilst they're finding it a good opportunity to move forward, there are three other areas which you can work on as well. And they don't seem to get the recognition that physical always seems to get, probably because it's not cool, it's not fashionable yet. I think soon it will be fashionable to have a coach and go over the data and have a personal team. And I think eventually it will be fashionable. Right now it's not fashionable. I mean, if this is good for Liam's mental health and this is a break from the books, 6 out of 10.
April just at home. First coming to the factory, working with the team. There's definitely some factory time, simulated time involved. Going to the gym, simulator at home. You don't want to,
I love that these guys just start their spiel with simulator, factory, team, and then, the order is very important as well, because if they did a bunch of different things, what they say first is like what they want to, it's the first order priority, right? And so you wouldn't mix that up. You wouldn't say, I had a nice dinner on one of the nights, if it was just one night, do you know what I mean? But if you went to the factory like for 3 out of the 4 weeks or 6 out of the 7 weeks, you'd be like, do you know what I mean? So that's the first thing that comes to my mind. Big.
Let it cool off too much and then, have a shock again when we start in Miami. I mean, training is just physical training. I love running. There's a tennis tournament in Monaco. I'm going to be there supporting some friends of mine. It's Easter time, so a bit of family time, meeting with friends as well. Spend time with friends and family, and my girlfriend is going to be coming home as well to recharge a bit the batteries. It's going to be a balance of everything. I will spend April just...
They're talking about balance. They're prioritizing the work. Family time obviously has to be included in there. It was an honest assessment, 9 out of 10. Short clip, I think it was Pirelli's tyre test. Hamilton at the wheel, Magello, mega circuit, S-tier circuit. What's not to love? Now, this is an interesting conversation. Is like, testing over the years has been decreased. Back in the day, you think like 95, 96, 2000, there was a lot of testing happening in the Michael Schumacher. Michael would have done hundreds and thousands of laps around here testing different stuff, different race team and different test team. And now, obviously, like that's come down a lot with a focus on cost and sustainability and so on. And so the simulator really has to push forward. Naturally something has to take that place. And so I'm not sure the drivers, like, they would love this. They'd love to get behind the wheel of a Formula One car and do this, or most of them. I know Lou's not a big fan, but the simulator can feel a little bit, it doesn't have the kind of same emotions that a test day like this would have. So it's a little bit more here, like these days, you got to be like disciplined to do the sim work. Like you saw Alex, right? He was like, I'm over this. But if he was taking an old school Formula One car around Magello for testing, he'd love it. So yeah, that's my only insight, but this is awesome. This is part of the Pirelli test. Lewis getting some laps in, gel with the team, blah, blah, blah. 8 out of 10. In terms of doing a demonstration run in your hometown with all the fans giving you that positive energy for a day off, if it was scheduled in, of course it was scheduled in, do you know what I mean? If it's part of the plan and whatever, tick that box and move on back to work. It's neutral for me. It's not here nor there. 5 out of 10.
Ingredients. Raspberries. That's going to go great with scrambled eggs and avocado. How did you guys not get milk? Oh yeah. Am I going to electrocute myself? Bro, I have no idea how this works. Is it like a switch? Boom! How'd you guys not get butter? Or like milk or anything? Like no butter, no milk, no bread. Right, look how I just nearly missed the whole thing. That sounds so disgusting. I can't do the one-handed. Oh, did you see that? Did you guys want some? Holy oh no. Boom. So you're just gonna sit there and watch me eat? Oh yeah. We're seeing.
Sometimes I feel sorry for these drivers because like it's hard to set your boundaries, isn't it? Everywhere there's like the team, it seems like, you guys help me out in the comments. Do the team want them to do like I'm saying and just focus on preparation, or they're pulling at their ears left, right and center to do X, Y, Z? There's heaps of extra stuff they have to do, and these guys have always constantly got a camera in their face. Liam can't even do a gym session without someone coming along, can't even make breakfast without someone coming along and seeing what's happening. They've become social media superstars and away from, you know, warrior, old-fashioned Formula One killers, right? If nothing else, it's a distraction to Liam as well. Get the cameras out of there, let him have his breakfast, let him do his job. This is short-term gain, long-term pain. 4 out of 10.
Hey Max, any advice for young drivers getting into motorsport? Believe in yourself. I think that's always the most important. And anything is possible, you know, work hard for it on and off track. Even when things are going well, it can always be better.
Is there anything for training as a young driver you can do?
To be honest, I think what you see a lot more now is even drivers that are still in go-karting or whatever, they're using the simulator already a lot. So from a young age already driving like racing cars, basically, I think already helps a lot for if you then make the jump to racing cars. Just that you already had the basic understanding of what to do, how to use gear shifts, how to go through data. That is something that, of course, I was lucky with my dad. For example, we went through all those things, discussing a lot of stuff, but you don't always have that kind of guidance. So the more you can learn already on the simulator while you still go karting, for example, I think the better it is to be prepared before you jump into a racing car.
World champions advice, 100% agree, 100% align with that. The sim is like I just said before, it's the new way of testing. A lot of people don't like that. A lot of purists or old-fashioned people, or people not want to move with the times, or they simply don't understand it. They don't understand how it works. But if you can see like the correlation and the pattern between, hang on, if I do this in the sim, I get this result, and it works the exact same way in real life, it's actually not that hard to model a car with the grip profile around the track. I think that is fairly easy to do. You know, it's difficult to model other things like wind or rain or change in grip, but you'd be surprised the iRacing is getting there. You know, rain is there now, change in grip is there now, like track grip, rub it in, green, whatever, temperature. A lot of it is there. They're getting towards like, yeah, it's only a matter of time before other things like wind and so on come in. Champions advice, believe in yourself is a huge part. You know, no one else is going to believe in you. You know, sometimes it's you versus you. 100% agree with this. 10 out of 10 from the chair. Next clip.
Yeah, we did some upper body, some neck as well.
Good.
It's important on the, you know, in such a long break. Otherwise, I'll get to Miami and it'll be like Jeddah again.
Hanging off.
Yeah. We did some upper body, some neck as well.
Similar to the previous comments, not sure I agree with Ollie here. Like that he's going to get to Miami and the neck is going to struggle. I mean, not too many highly loaded high G corners, very stop-start, very downshift, not much G under braking. A bit of karting in KZ would probably take care of all of that. And so I don't know, like this is, again, I think there's more lap time in other areas of driver preparation. 5 out of 10.
Cycling, golf, family, friends, paddle, more golf, more cycling, more friends, more paddle, more family, and I'm an uncle again for the 3rd time. So
oh, congrats.
That was good. That's a highlight. Not much. Cycling, golf.
There's like a 16-year-old boy somewhere, maybe watching this channel, maybe watching Carlos, who is thinking like, if only I could get an opportunity, I would work my ass off with regards to it and I would give everything and more to take advantage and maximize that opportunity. And then you hear this and it's like, oh, not much, bit of cycling, bit of golf, bit of this, bit of that. And I covered this in my live stream and I was like, okay, that might be in addition to the sim work and the karting and the speaking with personal team. And it might be that he's doing both and he only tells us one side of the story. But what do you want people to believe? Do you want us to believe that you're useless and lazy, or do you want us to believe that you're doing everything possible and everything on the table to making sure that you're the best, most complete F1 driver when you rock up to the next race? Surely it's the latter. Surely it's like, even if I don't do a lot of work, I just want everyone to know that I'm working my ass off. Like, why would you expose yourself to, like, is this guy serious or what? I think you got hammered in Miami. This is rubbish. Do not prepare like this. 1 out of 10. Very strange helmet reveal. So on so many levels, I like when the driver talks me through their helmet design and says, hey, listen, for this weekend, I chose this. These colors are special to me. This means a lot to me. I'm going to go out there and race for this particular reason. This is why I'm racing this weekend, and that's why my helmet is the way it is. The values piece. I don't like when drivers change their helmets often for no significant reason. You know, if you think of Ayrton Senna's helmet, you know exactly the helmet I'm talking about. You know the yellow one with the green stripe, with the blue stripe, you know the one. But if I said to you, Sebastian Vettel's helmet, 3 or 4 come to mind, right? And he's had probably 25, 30, 40 over the years. And so it's like, there's a few pieces in there for me. The social media piece, I'm not interested in. The helmet reveal piece, I want to see more value and significance and importance for the design. The third piece, don't change your helmet. Keep it as stock standard and minimalistic as possible and crack on. Head down. Doesn't do much for me. 2 out of 10.
And I will be your flower if you will be the bee. And I promise I will always give you the sweetest parts of me. 'Cause you're the tip to my top, the key to my lock, you're my breakfast in the morning. You're my up to my down and the king of my crown, and you're everything I want. You got that sweet honey, and I want it sweet honey. You got that sweet honey, and I want it sweet, sweet, sweet honey. So give it to me.
Thing is, guys, in my opinion, this is how it works. When you're a Ferrari driver, you've actually got to do more work than a normal Formula One driver, because there is a degree of incompetence on the people. We've seen it year in, year out. We saw it in Melbourne, for example. We saw it like 3 or 4 races ago. We saw the lack of communication in Miami. Charles saying, hey, when you make these strategy calls, maybe check in with me and see if I agree with that. And so it's like, when you're a Ferrari driver, you've got to be a Ferrari driver and a race strategist. You've got to be a Ferrari driver and a race strategist and a race engineer and a performance engineer and a operations engineer, and you've got to be a Formula One driver on top of all of your stuff, and you got to do bits and pieces as well to make up for some of the shortfalls in the team, right? They're not all like extremely dialed in, competent people there. And so to that end, I'd be like, congrats on the yacht, but it's like, it's not going to pay the bills out on track. And particularly when you're fresh off putting the car in the wall, I'm just like, you don't need this kind of reassurance. I think like a lot of the drivers get to this point, they get more stuff, and their lives become in a way like extremely cluttered. And I've always used this analogy on the channel before. I'd be like, finding goals are actually a process of removal. You pick up a piece of mud, big rock, big lump of soil, and you've got to remove, you've got to chip away, you've got to cut, you've got to wash, you've got to like sieve and filter and take away a lot of stuff in your life until you're left with the gold at the end of it. And I think a lot of the drivers could benefit from this mentality. It's just like, mate, just trim it out, like sell the cars, sell the watches, sell everything, get back, paint your helmet black, and just like, let's go back to what it's all about, back to the racing. And look, this depends. This will be different driver to driver. If you want to just be an F1 driver and just compete and maybe win a couple of races and whatever, fine, can do it like this. Nico Rosberg told you and showed you that if you want to be a world champion and it's not all there and not all happening your way, it requires requires an extra level of sacrifice and commitment and dedication and detail in order to pull that off. And then you can retire. I think Nico's got a yacht actually. So does Rafa Nadal's got one. Max has one. But you wouldn't even know. You wouldn't even see such a big launch. So I don't know. I just, again, the social media, less is more. If Charles got his head down, I think there'd be a little bit more lap time there. I was speaking to a really, really, really good coach the other day. And he was like, when people come to me, these are the 3 questions I ask them. What do you want? First question, what do you want? What's your goal? For sure, Charles would be like, world champion. Second question, how much do you want it? How badly do you want it? And Charles would be like, really badly. It's what I've been dreaming and doing since I was a little boy. I really want to be a world champion. I want it really badly. But the third question is, how much are you willing to suffer in order to get that goal? That's the question that I'm speaking to right now, is like, how much are you willing to suffer and sacrifice in order to get that goal? Because there is, or there might need to be, and look, you can be blessed with the best car and not a great teammate. You can win a couple of titles. It can work like that, but that's pretty rare. Most of the time, I think you're just going to have to, like, they don't give them out freely. You've got to, I think Lando last year did a really good job of turning around his season. And so I wonder how Charles would go if he stripped things back a little bit, made an inner circle. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think. 2 out of 10.
You'll stay for the next one too, or? Good match.
That'll be good. If you're around, then we can do some stuff. We're just doing some stuff.
Are you going? What track are you?
Vignolo. You know? No. It's like an hour and a half. Depends who's driving.
You have with,
we have a shifter and.
It's too much for me. Shifter.
No, you have regular. I have regular and shifter.
You know what I need? I have a card.
I think there's a lot for the drivers. So, I mean, this is the Rolex Monte Carlo Masters. All these guys live in Monaco. It's probably just down the road or downstairs from where they live. It's probably a 10-minute walk or drive to this event. To meet someone like Yannick Sinner, I feel like in F1, we're here in terms of human preparation, and tennis is here. It's like tennis. Physical, mental, technical, tactical is like all they do. Like, you're going to get beat on court. It's a one-on-one combat. Like, the racket doesn't make as much difference as the car out there. And so, like, I think for these young boys, I think this is a great interaction with Yannick, and like to spend time with someone of that level, a Yannick, a Roger, a Djokovic or a Rafa, these guys work their ass off. And so I think that would be helpful for them to get some one-on-one time and go a little bit deeper with Yannick. They were talking about karting. I think they were going to go they were going to go in the next couple of days, and they were inviting Yannick down. They were talking about shifters. I don't mind this. And like, if you're handy and it's in Monaco, obviously you wouldn't fly over there if you're American based, but if it's convenient and, Yannick's playing downstairs and there's an opportunity to catch up, again, the networking relationship thing, there's a lot to gain out of this from the approach mindset side. 9 out of 10.
Verstappen, 4-time Formula One world champion, but he's not racing Formula One today. He's driving one of those. Max is going to drive a GT500 car for the first time, and then he's going to attempt to beat the lap time of a pro GT500 driver. I'm here with Max Verstappen, 4-time Formula.
Nice wide short corner there on the last corner in Fuji Speedway. I know that track pretty well. Don't know the car very well. I'm not sure if it's got downforce or anything, but this is exactly what we were just talking about. Like, just in a way, it's almost no wonder that he's so much better than everyone else on the grid, because he's got an unfair advantage, and that unfair advantage is he works 10 times harder than anyone else. It's like the other guys just trimmed out a little bit of their life and focused and dialed in. You'd be able to compete with Max in terms of quality on the technical and tactical side. You'd be able to give Max a run for his money.
Who is the most naturally talented driver you've ever seen on a track?
Max
Verstappen. Okay, why?
Yeah, I don't know. It's natural, isn't it?
Yeah,
So.
Yeah, Jensen's completely missed the mark here. I think I played you guys a clip before with Roger Federer saying talent has a broad definition. Hard work is a talent. Discipline is a talent. Patience is a talent. Attention to detail is a talent. Teamwork is a talent. Communication is a talent. Practice is a talent. Time and prioritization is, all of these are talents as well, Jensen. He's kind of thinking like that this is just God-given, natural. I just spoke about like with the amount of work Max does, it's no surprise that he's regarded as the best on the grid. And for Jensen to not, like, it's disingenuous to call Max talented because it doesn't acknowledge the amount of work that he puts in as well. I feel like if you were to strip away their work, let's say you took away all the work Max had done, all the work Lewis had ever done, and you dropped them in without any context, practice, knowledge, whatever. That's the truest definition of talent, isn't it? Who can just jump into this random situation and know what to do? But that's never what's being tested. You've always got time to prepare for the test. Talent is an overrated word. I think Jensen missed the mark here. Max is talented and hardworking in equal proportions, which makes him the best opponent on the grid at the moment, as was Senna, as was Michael, some more than others. I think people underestimate how much Ayrton worked as well. I've listened to some interviews from him, and just when the camera's there and he's doing a debriefing and he's talking about the track and the bumps and curves and he's going into all this detail about the camber, and I'm like, it's actually, yeah, he can drive, but he knows what is, like, you know, he's aware of what's happening as well, whereas a lot of other drivers, they're immune to all of these details. And attention to detail goes without saying. Michael was one of the greatest of all time in that area as well. I think Jensen missed the mark there. That's a 1 out of 10 take.
Yes, talent matters. I'm not going to stand here and tell you it doesn't. But talent has a broad definition. Most of the time, it's not about having a gift. It's about having grit. In tennis, a great forehand with sick racket head speed can be called a talent. But in tennis, like in life, discipline is also a talent, and so is patience. Trusting yourself is a talent. Embracing the process, loving the process is a talent. Managing your life, managing yourself, these can be talents too. Some people are born with them. Everybody has to work at them.